Hey everyone, welcome to our weekly live stream. My name is Michael Mondragon. I'm the chapter lead of Type Thursday Phoenix. I'm with Matheo Cadena from Type Thursday Los Angeles. How are you doing today?
Hey everybody, I'm doing really well. Oh my gosh, it's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Um, I woke up to so many creative opportunities on my door this morning, and I'm just excited, Michael. Excited to be here.
Yes, both of us, we had quite a big drought when it came to opportunities and the right opportunities as well.
Yeah.
And one thing that I say is getting involved with our community, getting involved with these live streams, putting ourselves out there has really paid dividends. And we have an actual case of this. We're
We got a
actually
case study.
we have a total case study here. I was already going to Adobe MAX as a teaching assistant, and also I'm working the floor of the creative pavilion for Photoshop and InDesign. And so, but you weren't going, but as of
Yeah,
now, you are going. How did that happen?
it's official. Thanks to Type Thursday, AIGA, and the amazing community around us. We've been connected to Adobe. Our friend Megan Arnold there, she's a community manager, and she reached out to me, and she made the magic happen. She's also a former at Type Thursday. I think it was San Francisco was where she was previously. So she's part of the Type Thursday family as well. And she reached out this morning, and I let her know because I had also kind of initiated the conversation a while back when I was talking to her through thanks to Type Thursday and running community events. They reached out, and it's just one of those things where the work that you do for creative community always comes back, and it comes back in waves, right? So it's like this ripples effects. They go out and then eventually come back, and it never comes when you expect it. I think we were grinding so much in the early part of the year, and then all of a sudden, like months later, there's this like magnitude of creative energy coming right back at me, and I'm like, whoa, okay, this is that creative storm that I whipped up months back, just coming back around in a way. So I'm very blessed. I'm so thankful. Thank you, Megan Arnold, and thank you, our friends at Adobe, and thank you to everyone in our community. And Michael, I mean, we've been live streaming back and forth, talking about Adobe, talking about typography, talking about creativity. And if you have not met either one of us in person, you haven't seen the way we work with our community. We always uplift people. I think that's what I love about you, Michael, is that you are the kind of person that just uplifts any creative you meet. So yeah, just there's this other level of being a designer, right? Is like, how do we help each other? How do we build community? And it will come back around.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was surprised to find out that you actually have never been to Adobe MAX, which is
That's
even
right.
more exciting. So that's incredible. And I've been to, this is maybe my eighth or something like that. And I didn't start going until maybe like 2013 or 14. And
That's awesome.
it was the same reasons, I'm sure, for you. It's like it's not cheap. But
Yeah.
when I got involved with the community, I started getting more opportunities, and so yeah, and there's actually deals to be made, and I really through my networking got a lot of opportunities as well. So I'm excited for you, and it's such a great, and it's actually back in Los Angeles as well. That's good. It was in Miami last year, but yeah, so it's right in your hometown, so you get to enjoy all that. And so what are you looking forward to going there with sight unseen? You don't know, you kind of understand a little bit of it, but what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, that's a great question, Michael. Well, a little bit about my background. I grew up in a very small town, Seabrook, New Hampshire, and then we moved a lot. Like every 2 years, we go to Phoenix, Arizona. But no matter what, it was always like we didn't have enough at the time, right? So my family just didn't have enough. So I'm used to this, like growing up in hardship and trying to and grind for what and earn what I keep. And when I was in college and stuff, I always looked at the events that were happening, and I was like, oh man, I wish one day I can go to Adobe MAX. And so I've always been excited to sort of like learn more about like what Adobe community looks like in person, because when we're in school, all of our teachers, all of our students were using the software, but not a lot of us get this opportunity to come to an event on person in the ground, right, on the ground. And I think I've always been impressed by, you know, Photoshop, Illustrator. Those have been like my tools in design. But when my first time that I ever tuned in to watch the live stream, because they started Adobe in I think 2020 during the pandemic, they started to make sure that the Adobe conference, people could tune in all around the world. And at that point is when I built out like a whole database in Trello to capture all the different things. Because when you look at Adobe Max schedule, you're immediately overwhelmed. Like as a creative, like that's my first feeling is like, oh, I don't know where to start. So in Trello, I was able to sort of like start organizing it by lanes and break it down by like the software. And I've already teach myself a lot throughout the year when I'm working with like Illustrator. So I kind of am like, okay, I'm pretty up and coming with that. When I tuned in to watch the keynote, I was most impressed, and I think maybe the sneaks, by the evangelist who get up there and talk about the cool product features. And it was like Premiere, I think that year blew me away what they did with the video editing, how fast, how easy, just like all the new implementations. And it got me into wanting to work more with video, wanting to work more with animation and stuff. And I was just so impressed by the feature set, as well as like really blown away by Lightroom. So this year, I'm really curious to learn about After Effects, because I keep my whole career I've heard about After Effects, and motion graphics are really blowing up more than ever. I think people want, you know, visual digital content and then effects on top of that. So I'm curious to see what they're going to launch for the workflows in After Effects to make things just easier. And then like with AI workflows, what does that look like? I've already been keeping up a lot with like Illustrator and what's been going on with AI in Illustrator and AI in Photoshop. So I'm kind of like, I think I know what they're going to do for that. You know, I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the video world in After Effects, Premiere, and those. What about you?
Yeah, to echo what you were saying, one thing that I would do if I were you, especially being the first time there, is I wouldn't even plan it so much of like what you
Oh,
want to see, because honestly, I think that at least at first, sticking to a schedule is difficult, because you'll find out really quickly that things may not be as close to,
yeah.
like, oh, I got to go over here, I got to go over here. And I think that one thing that you should definitely do is take your time in like the community pavilion, because there's a lot to see there. There's a lot of great things that happen. Like one thing that's like a kind of an underrated thing, they actually have a whole area where they actually bring in like dogs, and you can
Oh,
pet the dogs and all this stuff. And it's like it's something that
what?
like, a lot of people don't talk about,
That's so cute.
or it doesn't get out enough. But
Yeah.
they have stuff like that, and but also they have all the demos of all the new things that are coming up. There's a lot of vendors there that I mean, it's I said it is so much to take in, and then
Yeah.
also like the immersion, like you could have different rooms where they take pictures and they manipulate it and do all these things. So, and then just going around and networking with people. I
Mm.
think that if you're having to race and go see people or go see events, you may like say like, oh, as someone I know, I gotta go. It's like it becomes like that. So
Yeah.
I would say just go in with like no agenda and just soak it all in, and have things that you definitely want to see that are a top priority. But
Yeah.
I think make it fluid. I think that's my best advice to you.
Thank you, Michael. And I think part of like how I love to experience events is I like to like content create while I'm there and like capture video and
Yeah.
sort of step outside of the ecosystem and like sort of shoot coming in and all that stuff. So I mean, while networking and flowing with the vibe and seeing where people are and people watching and then like coming in, coming out of crowds. And so you're right. Sometimes I try to get maybe too stuck in my head of like, oh, I've got to follow the plan, and then you're right, you just got to go with the flow and sort of meet people. And the same thing happened at the AIGA National Design Conference that we just went to. The last time we live streamed, I was outside there, and I wanted to follow the agenda, and it just didn't work out. Like the time just was not happening the way I wanted it
Right.
to. And I kept
Right.
missing all the things I wanted to see, but I had an amazing time, like you
Yeah.
said, just networking, bumping into people, meeting people for the first time, walking into a random room, hearing a cool conversation. And and Adobe Max is just that on a whole nother scale, you know, at a bigger level. And I'm just super excited to see. And yeah, I gotta be careful that I don't like get in my head and just try to like be too regimented, for sure.
Yeah, there was I think it was Vacation, the movie Vacation with Chevy Chase, and they were going on their vacation, but they're trying to get back to something or go somewhere, um, and they're at the Grand Canyon, and Chevy Chase goes, "Come on, we gotta go," and they're like, "No, we're looking at the Grand Canyon," and he goes, "Oh," he turns around and goes, "Okay, we gotta go, let's go." You know, it's like that 2 seconds to look at the Grand Canyon. It was like, trying to get out of that, you know, like it's not having to worry about stuff, because you are going to stand in line for things. You're going to want to do things and see things. You're going to be standing in line, you know, to eat. They feed you well. That is the one thing that not have to worry about. Usually, like they have like snacks everywhere, but there's also meals, and you have to plan accordingly. And then you'll see people and you'll start getting to talk to them, and you're like, oh God, I got to be somewhere. But I think just taking that time at first, especially being the first time, you're gonna love it. And it's also one of those things that kind of, you know, it will definitely recharge you as well, as far as like just being around creatives and seeing that creative energy. And there's a lot of installations that you'll want to see, and so like, yeah, we were talking about, what are your tips for attending larger conferences? You've been to quite a few, I'm sure, but not this one. But like, do you have anything that that you like to do?
So from this most recent one with the AIGA conference, it was like I looked at the agenda and I found just like one thing where I was like, okay, that's what I need in my career right now, and it was how to negotiate your rate, right, as either as a design studio, as a freelancer, as an employee. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to miss that. And then got to attend that conference, got a ton of information out of that. And so the rest, I was just like you said, kind of go with the flow. And I think what helped when I was walking around is that I was interacting with people, some who I knew, right, and then some who I didn't know. And I feel like we get kind of nervous, right, when we don't know a lot of people. But I would just kind of find maybe like mutual, like if there's like a cool shirt someone's wearing, a cool design or something, and compliment that. And all of a sudden that compliment opens up a conversation. Or if someone's lost, I'd be like, hey, I'm lost too. Let's like be lost together. Where should we go? And just being friendly, opening up conversations with people, and not being afraid to chat and strike up conversation with someone new, because then all of a sudden you're like making friends and meeting people, and it's like making the best of it. So I feel like that was a great tip, is like being open to meeting new people, because everyone's in those spaces are wanting to get away from the computer and talk to people, get away from the office and start to socialize. I had my business cards with me, and I thought I was going to give them out more, and I only give it out like maybe once, and I think don't be too concerned with that. Like it's and like you said, maybe one tip for people is it's like you have a lot of agenda in your mind, and it's like just kind of letting go of that and just being like, when the moment strikes, you'll feel it. Like it'll be that moment that you want to hand the business card out, right? But don't go around like before you say hi, like, here's my business card, or like it's too much. It's too much. I think just making a connection with people on a genuine level is a great start, and just trying to talk to new people that you may have never met before. If you're at a conference, you've got to be ready to talk to some new folks. Because I think the other thing I see that happens is I'll see clusters of people who I know get together, and my instinct is to go and huddle up with them, but then I'm not meeting new people, and I'm like, oh, dang it, okay, now I got to go. Like I'm here to meet all these new folks and get new ideas, and yeah, so it's say hi to them and have that comfort, that conversation, that catching up, but then also like go and kind of work the room as well. And Rachel Elnar kind of caught me one point. She's like, what are you doing? You LAers are all hanging out together in like a table.
Right.
She's like, you're supposed to be out there talking to everyone who's coming from all around the country. Like, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. It was, yeah.
That's a great point. And she's usually like, she busts us all. Like she goes, get off your phone, or like she's, because we all think that we need to be doing this stuff, but right, it's being in the moment, being consuming it. like I met, I'm a big baseball fan, so the World Series is in town as well. So I'm like, I'm lamenting that I can't participate in that a little bit more, but
right.
the prices are too high for that too. But anyway, but in the past, I actually escaped a few to go to some division series and a championship series, but I was watching it at a place that was close to. I mean, it's in downtown LA, so it's like there's so much going on down there. But I was actually watching the game at a place over there, and I actually met someone who was at the conference because I could see their badge, and they worked for like Target, but in Minneapolis. They worked in their I think, if I'm not mistaken, like Target, their creative is in Minneapolis. So it's like I met someone from there. So you never know who you're going to meet. And I met someone else who just randomly, we were at a place and I had my badge on, and or not my badge, but something Adobe, and they asked me if I was at the conference. And she worked for like you were saying, After Effects. She actually worked in did After Effects and Premiere and Photoshop for the Chicago Cubs. And it was a totally random meeting.
And you love baseball. That's amazing.
Exactly.
That's
And
so amazing.
yeah, we still converse to this day. And so yeah, it's again, you never know who you're standing next to. It could be someone that's in your same field, but that's the thing. You have to get out of your comfort zone. And you being from LA, a lot of people don't have that. They're coming from somewhere else, so they don't have friends there per se. But you do, and it's like you almost have to avoid the friends. You say hi and all that stuff. But getting out there as well. Also, something I wanted to tell you as well before I forget.
Thanks.
Because you're now getting it now, and it's the 24th. The pre-conference starts on Sunday. So it's Sunday and Monday is a pre-conference. Then the actual Adobe MAX starts on Monday, right? On Tuesday.
On Tuesday's the official day. Monday they have programming that's like
it. So that's the first 2 days. That's pre-conference. So if you check the schedule, there may be things that are already filled up.
What?
So yes. Oh, and case in point. I'm actually I'm a teaching assistant for her name is Meg Lewis, and if you look her up, she's a designer, performer, and educator, and she does like it's called Design a Brand Identity That Only You Could Make, and it looks from the stuff I've got for the TA stuff, it looks amazing, and she's like really super cool. She has a huge following as well. But it's filled up. I wouldn't even be able to get into it if I wasn't a teaching assistant.
Dude, as soon as you said the topic, I'm like, I want to be in there.
Well, that's just it. You'll have to watch it probably, on replay because you'll be able to see it. But that's one of the disadvantages to getting it this late is you have to look at like what's available. That's why I think that you're going to spend more time probably in the community pavilion and hanging out and then finding little things that you can go to. Take it all in, but definitely look at the schedule now and see what's available.
Yeah, thank you for that pro tip, because I would have shown up on the day of and been like, "Oh, righty, where am I going?" And they're like, "Nope, no entry,
right?
Free register." And I'm like, "What?"
Yes.
Yeah, that's so me too. Is like I'll kind of also procrastinate, a little ADHD here, and then I'm like, by the time I'm ready to I'll go in, and it's like, "Wait, oh, you missed your mark," and I'm like, "Oh, snap."
Yeah. And you'll find stuff, and they also have like waiting lists for things too. So yeah, I would say if you want to get on those waiting lists, if it's something that you really want to get into, like they open it up as well.
That's good. That's good to know. Yeah.
And we're also doing something too that's a little bit out of the norm on that Monday.
That's right.
And so Martina Flor, who is just an amazing designer, if you're please follow her on Instagram. Her tips and stuff that she's doing really recently is good. I saw her, I think in 2017, she did a big Adobe MAX session that I loved. And but we're going on a LA letter hunt. So
yes,
I hipped you to that, and I actually got a ticket last second.
That's so cool. We got a ticket to Sky Blue Jenny Femi Locarno is going to be there. Shout out to Jenny. And Michael's the one who told me about this. And as soon as you sent it and I started reading about it, and I'm like, wait, walking through LA, exploring letter forms in the wild, I was like, sold. I need to be a part of this thing. And the other night I was like, one of those where you're laying in bed and I was like, did I forget what day that was? And did I ADHD and miss the date completely? Because I thought it was like last week. And then I'm like, I paid for that event and I totally missed out on it. And then I woke up today and I saw like an email from them, and then you had texted me on top of that. So I got a text from you, and then I saw the email from, hey, just a reminder, it's coming up. And I was like, oh wait, I didn't miss it. Yes, it's gonna happen. Monday at 5. Yes, let's be there. So I'm excited for that. So we'll get to hang out in person, Michael, because Michael's been in Phoenix, I've been in LA. It's been a minute since we've seen each other in person, so that's gonna be great. Yeah.
So how do you think that going to this event is going to help us for what we do, and especially in typography and letter forms?
Oh yeah, can I share my screen?
Please.
Let me see. So share the screen. Let's see if this works. And okay, can you see my Adobe MAX Trello board?
No. You need to share it, and I need to share it on my side.
There we go. Wait, I need to share my entire screen here, and then do. And then how about now? See it now?
That's it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So again, back in 2020, when Adobe had put on Max virtually for the first time, I looked online and I just got so overwhelmed. So I was like, as I was reading, I was like, let me like pull this out into lanes in Trello and kind of digest like, what is it that I want to see? Like there's things that are on demand. There's like sessions on demand. And then like by software, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, XD at the time was great, Lightroom, Fresco, and Premiere, and all these others. For what I got really excited for and what inspired me is I use Illustrator a lot. So I think I gravitated first towards the Illustrator sessions, and I got to watch this one here. And it was just like creating an Illustrator, like these really cool patterns that you would normally, it would take a long time to try and illustrate. And he showed a way where it was like you could just draw it with the path tool once you set up the settings. And that's what I've always loved about these different sessions, right? Is once you see how it's another professional puts together the tool set in a software, and then they're like, look, I just saved 3 hours of work, I made it in 30 minutes. You're like, oh, that's how that's done. And then you can be like, okay, I'm going to try and experiment with this and use it in my workflow. And the same thing with like Terry, I think was it InDesign series stuff, learning like layout, what's new in InDesign, learning like all the skill set of like what I was making a lot of presentations, and it was like helping me make faster in InDesign, and really blown away with like the fast features of Lightroom, copy pasting, editing. You'd edit one photo, you could edit 100 photos by copy pasting those edits. That was awesome. And then the video stuff too, where I was just like so blown away with like how easy they were making like cool video edits and the new software tools. And ultimately what happened is prior to going through the Adobe MAX and prior to watching this, I was feeling like drained at my day-to-day job, right? I was working as an in-house designer. I had been at the company for 4+ years already. We were kind of working on the same stuff all the time. Every year it was kind of the same thing. And I just kind of got bored, right? You get bored using the same old tools or working on the same old projects. And so when I watched and tuned into Adobe MAX, all of a sudden I had like all these new tools and tips, and I wanted to try and open up Illustrator and try that path and create a whole new means of working with the projects at work. And then I was like, let me play with video, because the video looks so fun and easy. And like I was shooting some video for events that we were doing for these hair care things, and I'll bring it into the video editing software, and or take something into for photos, take things into Lightroom, and like what used to take me 3 hours now took like 30 minutes in Lightroom. And so I got supercharged by what I saw with Adobe MAX and all the sort of different sessions. For me, it was creative inspiration, but beyond getting inspired, it was actually speeding up my workflow. And that was like the most powerful thing. And then it just gave me that joy back in creating. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. And that's the way I am, you get to a point where you're like, you think that you know it all, and you have your workflows and stuff like that. And I think that if you challenge yourself to keep learning and keep wanting to grow as an artist, that these things are there for you. So it's like, again, the tool doesn't define who I am and what I create, but it certainly makes it easier. And it's funny that you talk about all this, um, innovation, but also all this stuff that they don't emphasize anymore, like XD. I mean, there was a huge
Yeah.
push with XD for so long, and it
2020
was
was like the height of them Adobe pushing XD. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, but also I questioned it as well. I'm just like, so why are we making only prototypes? Are we making finished things? So like there was a big push, I think, to be in the UI UX space. So I think that was, and especially competing with Figma at that time. But now with AI and in the integration of like Firefly, there's actually other models that are now going to be in Photoshop. So you can actually have more production and making stuff within the tool. And the tool isn't the destination. Like you're not making something and then, oh, I'm done. I'm an artist. It's actually taking it and then using that to make more and push the bounds of what creativity is. So like I said, I love seeing this. And the sneaks is also a great way of knowing the future of our business. Graphic design, there's so much, I don't know what to call it. It's like I don't know where it's going. Like I teach InDesign, and sometimes I think to myself, is InDesign gonna be around, in 5-10 years, or like what's around the corner? But I still feel like there's still a place for people that want to make stuff and make stuff, just make stuff in general.
Yeah. Well, and who was it recently? Was at an event, and they were talking about working in. I think it was Patrick Fredrickson talking to Rachel Elnar. We were at like a dinner some event we were going to, and what happened, we were talking about education, and we were talking about design education, and Patrick's worked in that for many years, right? And he was like, I'm going to teach the way that I was taught, and that's you don't really teach software, right? This is the software will eventually become irrelevant. You teach design principles. Even if you have to teach the software, you teach the principles first, and you teach how the software can build on top of those principles or accentuate those or make your life easier working with those. And when you know the fundamentals and the concepts and design systems and design thinking and how problem solving, and you can do it away from the computer, and then you can go into the computer. Now the software can supercharge you, whatever software you use. And they were approached, I think, to like collaborate, him and another person, about like building out a design curriculum that could be future proof. And they were like, well, if we're going to future proof a design curriculum, we can't focus on one software or another software. We have to focus on design systems. We have to focus on design thinking more than anything. And then if we can teach them that, it doesn't matter what software emerges across the industry, because they can go and they can make and play and create within that. And then if the new one comes, they can work in that too, because they've got those great foundations. So all this stuff, is an extension of our human experience. Like we've talked about before, typography is an extension of the human experience, because it's letter forms and thought translated into symbols that create words. And software is a part of that, right? It helps us, it empowers us to get our creative ideas out into the world. And I'm super excited to see what Adobe's gonna have served up for us on the menu, to see how we can make our lives easier as creatives. Because you're right, there is this weird shakeup in our industry right now with AI, and everyone's trying to sort of replace humans with AI. And the unfortunate truth that's happening really fast is that they're all realizing, as they've laid off so many people, it's like, it's not replacing the humans. Like, it's not solving the problems, it's not getting the sale, it's not closing the sale, it's not the AI is getting us like halfway there or a quarter of the way there, or not at all. The human has to come in and use the tool to close the gap. So it's
yeah, I totally agree. And I actually take that that stance, because I remember you talking about that before, and it's exactly right. It's like, with design principles and good design, like I can do that in any program. I just have to learn the software, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, in your case, you
Photoshop,
can do it on paper. You can do it on a wall.
right,
Michael, you're a sign painter. Like I've seen
right,
Michael's done all. He's without software, with software. He's done
right.
it all.
Yeah, there was a time when I couldn't use like software because it didn't exist. I couldn't
Because it
do
didn't.
AI like or any of these
Yeah.
things. Some of the things didn't even exist, right? So
Yeah.
like, how do you? I mean, and look at all the people like the painters. Look at the photographers. Like look at just people, just the multimedia people. Like
Yeah.
there's an old saying that says like Michelangelo got all the great ceilings. It's like you know, you have to kind of figure out like as an artist like what you want to make, and it's like there's sometimes no blueprint for it, and what's
Yeah.
going to resonate with people. It's just like you just have to keep creating. And like someone doesn't look at something and go like, oh, Photoshop. They it's a different. It's almost like the tool doesn't matter. I could buy the most expensive hammer in the world, and it won't help me build a house because I don't know how to build a house,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't give me the strength. It doesn't give me anything else. So it's like,
That's hilarious. That's good.
I think that it's just me being a better designer is just me being curious and me being observing life and looking at things. And again, going on this letter hunt with like a master
Mm.
type designer
Mm.
and letterist. I want to know. I want to pick her brain, and I'm sure I'm just gonna get it. It's like
Yeah.
what she sees. Like for instance, on her Instagram, like she talks about how the letter O, it's overshot. It's not on the baseline. It's actually
Yeah.
overshot on top and bottom.
The
And
center.
there's little things like that. It's
Mhm.
the little details, right?
It's the little
It's the stuff
details.
that people don't teach you, but the stuff that I watch her and I listen to her. That's how I learn and get inspired.
Yeah. And I think this whole wall behind me that you're looking at, this is a, example of getting away from software and forcing myself to create with my hands, make with my hands, challenge myself. This was a vision board. It started with sticky notes. It started with like kind of what I wanted to bring into the world, the energy, where did I want to go in my career? I left the company as an in-house designer. I started my own design studio back in January, and I was like, I had nothing lined up. So there's a lot of fear, but I was like, I had the savings and I had this infrastructure set up, and I was like, and now I'm going to make the vision. And the vision was like working with collaboratively with other creatives to build community, but also to like serve a greater purpose is the big mission for me. It's like, as long as I'm uplifting people and inspiring people and helping people achieve their dreams through creative problem solving, I'm happy. So that was kind of like the big journey map. It started as sticky notes and on black and in black Sharpie. And then I was like, now the next layer for me was put it up on the wall, see it up there, and then tear out pages of magazines and rip them out and forego perfectionism. So I didn't even allow myself to use scissors. I had to rip out the pages with my hands, do the minutia, fold it, put it up on or put it out on a spread, and then pick the visuals that I liked the most from what I had sort of ripped out and like piled up on the floor. And then I was like, okay, this one hits me, this one hits, and then I put that up on the wall. And because what I tend to do is, if I spend too much time trying to perfect and cut and get the right edges and make things look pretty, I'll just be forever just like cutting little things out. And sometimes that's an enjoyable process, but for like what I was just trying to do is like, I need to see something, inspiration on the wall, something to inspire this brainstorming session I had with myself of being like, this is where I want to go in my design studio. How am I going to get there? What does that look like? And, putting brands up that are luxury brands like Prada, putting shots up in martial artist and beside the shot, putting things that I care about as visuals, the owls and all kinds of other things. And all of a sudden now it's come around that an agency that I'm in talks with about getting work with them is going to possibly put me on a luxury brand. And like, luxury brands is all I put up here on this vision board in January. Now I was starting to lose hope all of a sudden in October, because I was in September. I was like, well, I haven't seen this thing come to life yet, but it's up there. And then all of a sudden now, I just got in touch with someone who's like, hey, we can work with you on this luxury brand. Would you be down? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And so that's, I think, the best thing for me when you want creative inspiration. It's not in the software. right? It's the software is there to help you bring those visions to life. You want inspiration, you've got to kind of go away from the computer and then come to the computer and now like let the software help you create your vision in your mind, you know?
Yeah. I always say like designing is like the last 10% of what I do. Like
Yeah.
like
Yes.
90% of like it's 90% of
Yeah.
just thinking. It could be decades. I'm like, oh, I've always wanted to do this thing. The thing that I need to do, and you just reminded me of it, is just having blank canvases everywhere. I saw David Carson, which is one of my huge influences. I saw the way that he worked. He just had these big canvases on the ground, and he
Mm-hmm.
just made collages. And like
Yeah.
he would just look at them and just walk through them. And then if he goes, oh, this one would actually fit better over here, or this over here, it's like, and it was never done. It was just always a work in progress, but it was always there. It's in your
Mm-hmm.
way, and it's like that. It's in your face. You see it every day. So that's one thing that I do need to remind myself, that I need to have that creative outlet. Um, just I just need something everywhere where I can just like put stuff together and have that inspiration as always being inspired or creative.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And David Carson, we had the pleasure of meeting him because we did an event with AIGA. We had him as a presenter, as a speaker, and we got to like go have drinks with him afterwards.
Oh wow.
And I was like, I was star shocked because I wrote one of my papers about him as like a thesis or whatever, or no, undergrad, but and like he was a big inspiration source for me, as one of my capstone pieces is like that work that he had. So yeah, I love that you brought up David Carson, his work style, and it's just different. It's the same thing. It's forego perfectionism, be creative, be playful, and kind of go wild, which is
Absolutely.
opposite of what we're taught sometimes. And software sometimes won't let you, right? Like the software has snaps to grid, or software is like glitchy, or just try to make it do what you want it to do. It doesn't do what you want to do. So yeah.
Yeah. It's too perfect. When I first started working in Photoshop, literally if you had a picture and you went off the canvas with it, it cut it off. Like
Oh,
you
really?
lost it. You
Yeah.
lost whatever that is. Now you can move it off and move it back, and it's all in one piece. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's half on, half off. Like
Yeah.
it would be literally be gone. So did that make it harder for me? No, because I didn't know any better. I knew to keep everything within the bounds.
Yeah.
But I was like, I had to work around it. Just knowing that, I go, don't get this picture too close to the edge. So again, the software shouldn't dictate your creativity. You should be come in with something and then create it within the program. There are limitations, I get that, but I wanted to say this, that we will actually be giving updates from Adobe Max and our letter hunt that we'll be on. So
Yeah.
definitely watch out. Where can we see you and your work and your Type Thursday as well?
Definitely follow me at Matteo Mr. Al MROWL and at Type Thursday LA, and I'll be posting on Instagram a lot. So just check follow me there. You'll see lots from me. And Michael, where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm at Mondragon Design, and I'm also at Type Thursday PHX. We just had a great event last night. Again, I'm tired, but I'm
Woo!
inspired and very happy about everything. The people that came, the speakers that spoke. Our venue is tremendous. A lot of supportive people, very artistic community. So you actually have an event coming up during Adobe Max, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna host Type Thursday LA on Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. at Art Center College, October 30th. So if you're in town and you can't go to Adobe Max, because we understand that that's not possible for everybody, then come to Type Thursday. It is a $10 ticket if you grab your ticket now. Early birds ends tonight. Lock in your savings. If you wait after tonight, it does go up to $28, but that is a small little fraction of the cost of the comparison conference, and you will be inspired. You'll be around creative community. You'll be around people who think like you and also want to share their ideas and work with each other. So if you want community and you aren't going to be at Adobe Max, definitely join us. If you want a break from Adobe Max, come to Type Thursday LA. We're going to host a costume contest, possibly. Yes. So wear your costumes for Halloween. There will be a winner chosen from everyone who has costumes. And I think that's kind of it for me, Michael. Yeah.
Yes, and I would definitely have been there. Unfortunately, I have a conflict. I'm going to see my favorite band of all time. They're actually playing 3 nights. It's actually a movie that's only available in IMAX for 3 nights. So I'll be there that night for the Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
But again, I'm there in spirit, and but I'm so happy that we'll see each other at Adobe Max and Martina Flor's LA Letter Hunt, which I'm super looking forward to. So for Matheo Cadena, I'm Michael Mondragon, and we will see you not next week because we'll be at Adobe Max, but we'll try to get back and do maybe a follow-up to this.
Yeah, we'll have to check in after Adobe Max with you all and let you know how it was, share some updates from there. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you,
So have
everybody.
a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everyone.
We'll see ya. Have fun.